So, ladies and gentlemen, today this is a podcast. What's been going on in the States and Canada and throughout the world over the last, well, it's more predominant now, but there's always been racism. 20th century was full of racism. Uh, Tens upon tens of 100 millions of people died in many, many countries, in Asia and in North America, Europe, all over the place for either their language, the color of their skin, their religion, whatever. Now, I live in New Brunswick, which a lot of people consider one of the most racist provinces in all of the Dominion. Why do I think this, and why do a lot of people think this? Well, why are there Confederate flags hanging in Miramichi? Why are the vestiges of the core party still alive in the provincial, the PCs and the People's Alliance? Why is the Premier of New Brunswick the former failed leader of CORE, the Confederation Region, Blaine Higgs? He's renounced it, sure, but he's the David Duke of New Brunswick. Why is white rural New Brunswick and some of the francophone areas big fans of Trump? Why do people believe conspiracy theories? Because Trudeau brought in a bunch of Syrians, Muslim and Christian Syrians years ago. They're worried about the Muslims taking over Sharia law. Why would any Muslim want to take over New Brunswick, ladies and gentlemen? 7 months of winter. Muslims are not good at the winter sports. I've never seen a Saudi Arabian hockey team. I never saw, a Qatarian baseball squad that was any good, or a snowmobile squad, whatever. When you wake up in the morning, like I did, the first morning of my second year in college, there was a group that was gaining a favor in New Brunswick. It's called the English-speaking Canadians of New Brunswick, which led to CORE, which led to the Anglo Society of New Brunswick, which led to the People's Alliance. Are people deliberately racist? No, but you have, when you're racist, you don't adapt. Rural New Brunswick has a problem with the adaptation for years and years. When the French started asking and getting the rights, there was a problem because he couldn't do anything because Pierre Trudeau, he was no Diefenbaker. Trudeau believed in the just society. Pierre Trudeau brought in laws that protected all people of Canada and didn't give prioritization to white Canada or what I consider white Anglo-Saxon and Protestant Canada. Now, if you had tried to have a conversation in New Brunswick about racism, people even now Black Lives Matter. There was a colleague of a close family member who was saying the other day, "What's wrong with white pride?" Well, everything's wrong with white pride because white people have privilege. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an Acadian Métis. I'm half white, half Indian. I got Jewish background. I got Gypsy. I got Scottish. I got Irish. I'm like many people together. I see racism. My over 30 years as a journalist have taught me there's racism throughout New Brunswick. But the only way to stop racism is three ways. Teach the children not to be racist. Do not have them look up blindly at their parents as any role model. Let the children decide what is true, what is right, what needs to be done to improve this world. Secondly, have compassion for people that are not like you. Help your neighbor, but don't help your neighbor just because you're white. Help your neighbor if they're black, green, purple, blue, whatever. And by the way, if you're basing everything on religion or color or background, like I hate every Toronto Maple Leaf fan equally. Did that make me a racist? No, it makes me smarter than the average hockey fan. Anybody who takes the Toronto Maple Leafs is misguided. That's my biggest problem. My biggest problem with people is sports. When people go around wearing Patriots jerseys saying that, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, and I grew up watching Roger Staubach and Fran Tarkenton and Dan Marino and John Elway and all the superstars, Johnny Unitas, I have a problem with that. That's sports. That's just gentle ribbing discussion. But when you go into a region like we do, every time I go to Miramichi region, seeing Confederate flags, where the South is thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of miles away from Miramichi. When you see the People's Alliance getting support, Chris Austin is given the rights to run his party. He was duly elected, but he only represents one factor of New Brunswick that ran New Brunswick almost to the ground in the KKK era right up until the 68 vote. You understand, ladies and gentlemen, there were 17 specific regions of the province in the mid 1920s from Benton to Campbellton to Frankton to St. John, not the Caracat Coast, they were in support of the KKK. There are vestiges of that was there for years, and we see it now politically. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had two racist political parties elect members of the provincial legislature since 1987. A dozen. A dozen membership. That represents in New Brunswick 10 to 15,000 voters. So it's 140,000 racist people or people that support, hey, black people, keep your way, French, Indians, whatever. You see, you got to understand to love your neighbor is most important. You're not going to be racist if you truly love your neighbor. You say your neighbor can do anything you want, but when you do racism as a way to build up whatever you have built, you're building a building on sand. Being a racist is not what God intended, even though He predicted it in the Bible. We all see that, because really the reason why Jesus was murdered and executed because people were racist against him. But that's another story altogether. But you got to understand, if you're going to walk around New Brunswick and think there's no racism, you're wrong. But if you're going to walk around New Brunswick and think that racism is going to stay, you're wrong too. You always got to fight the battle, like the Klingons. You always got to fight against evil or fight against the negativity in this world. And I will go from now to my dying breath. I will tell every racist in this province to smarten the fuck up, either leave Canada or basically get out of the way. Malcolm X said, by any means necessary. I don't believe in that. I don't believe killing racists. I believe in humiliating them. First humiliate them, and then you say, come here, let me talk to you. You ever look at the better way like this? Because you could talk to a racist, but the problem was it takes an awful big effort to get rid of them. Anyway, that's my spiel today. I hope everybody is going to have a safe Black Lives Matter events over the next coming weeks. And I must tell you, people say I'm always ragging about Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump because he's president of the United States, because I had an opportunity with my other media throughout Canada to nail him against the wall for his mafia connections from the 1970s into the 1990s, and we let him off the hook. So if you're wondering why Donald Trump is president of the United States, has nothing to do with the voters, ladies and gentlemen. The media could have easily pinned him against a wall for his mafia connections in Quebec, in New Jersey, in Ontario, in the Maritimes, in New York, and we failed the people by not showing how bad he was. Brian Mulroney was the Donald Trump of Canada. Look what happened there. Ruined the PC party of Canada. It was destroyed. Allowed the Reform Party to rise. Allowed Stephen Harper to rise. Almost caused Quebec to separate. So everything has a result. If you, like I said, within 10 miles of my house here, had one of the biggest KKK rallies in New Brunswick history with the beautiful horses and a lineup of 150 people from Drug, Carleton, New York County. What did that do? Did that lead politically into the core party and the right wings of the PCs, the People's Alliance? Sure. But the problem is they're not going to win the majority. You must expose the racists to stop the racists. So Black Lives Matter and the Indian protest because of the two unfortunate murders of our young brothers and sisters in the last few days. You have to shine a light on racism, because the good people have to get together. We have to stand together and say, listen, that's a racist bugger. But we also have to give an opportunity to teach them that racism is wrong. People can change. I don't think Blaine Higgs has changed, but that's a personal opinion. Some people do, and that's good for them. But I seen these people at the core at his height. It was scary, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine if he would have won the government? He would have maybe tried to kick all the Frenchmen out of New Brunswick, all 300,000 of us, or half Frenchmen like me. So on this COVID Wednesday, we wish good luck to all the people in Campbellton. It's an ongoing situation, and like I said, wash your hands and be safe. Have a good day.